Well, I had been working in television business for a few years, on and off, but mainly in the pilot making part of the television business. Generally, we would do a year and then they would get canceled. So I actually spent a lot more time making pilots than I did working on shows that were actually standing on the air.
Is it absolutely necessary that the brother commit suicide?
It's just so sad.
Over time, it just started to seem like there was something kind of funny about the consistency with which exactly the same stuff would happen to us and to our friends making pilots.
Does the brother have to kill himself?
What? That's the whole premise.
Jake and I were actually really busy not making a movie. We have lunch and he brings me the script. He said, look, I've been writing this at nights and on the weekends. He said, look, I think we should just go and make this quickly, cheaply. We'll do it with a couple friends and for not a whole lot of money. He gave that script to me in February 2005 and we shot the film in August. An incredibly short amount of time to actually get something together.
And action. All right. It's great to be back in the fourth floor conference room.
Usually the process for making a little movie like this is you start sending it to actors and figuring out if anyone wants to be in it. And I was lucky to find a bunch of great people who I really wanted to be in it who did want to be in it. So it did come together pretty quickly. David is someone that I've known for a long time and I've wanted to work with for a long time. It's a well-known secret that he's incredibly funny and a really sort of solid comic presence who could hold down this movie.
Don't even bother trying to escape. We've got you outnumbered. Well, I'm playing a guy named Mike Klein, a writer, television writer, who I guess this is pretty much his first pilot that's going to be shot. A warm fourth floor conference room welcome for Jesse Fillmore. They take my pilot, kernel of what I wanted to do, and it gets kind of manipulated and compromised until it's almost unrecognizable by the end. There's no fart there. It's kind of fun to play each little step, the loss of integrity and the compromises that you make, and you think they're little, and then all of a sudden you turn around and you go, how did that happen? Is it my original vision? No, of course not.
David is brilliant with conveying a tremendous amount of complication with a look and a syllable. A lot of my favorite stuff in the movie is David listening to something that someone's saying to him and doing just a very simple, like, uh-huh.
You've never seen Taxi Driver?
Mm-mm. What is this, a funeral?
Lenny, Richard, gentlemen.
Originally, the role of Lenny was actually written for a man. And through a long process of the schedule moving and people becoming unavailable in a moment of crisis trying to figure out who should play that part, a good friend, Stuart Kornfeld, suggested, well, what if Lenny were a woman?
Wowza.
As soon as I made that leap that the character should be played by a woman, Sigourney was the instant first choice.
She read it, immediately responded to it, and we just never looked back. And the thing is rather remarkable. We never changed a line of dialogue. We never changed the character's name. Everything stayed the same. Not a word. And that was, her and Jake made that agreement very early on.
I think that Jesse has fake breasts, and I believe that over the life of a series, the audience can feel that.
Well, the script was so funny, so articulate, really devastating in its attack on the system, I think, and kind of made your hair stand on end, especially if you were contemplating actually being involved with television.
Spouses are not necessarily a fixture of the schedule.
Lenny is this sort of oblivious force behind this sort of lowest common denominator. It's all about the numbers for her. And in that sense, she's absolutely brilliant at her job. She's not going to be co-opted by any artistic instinct for a second. Never has a moment of self-doubt. And it's kind of exciting to play someone like that.
Sigourney's got a lot, she's got a tremendous presence and kind of command. And she uses it in this part. She's the head of the network, and she's got power, and she's got sway over people. She kind of uses her height and her beauty to that effect.
Original scares me a little. You don't want to be too original.
Richard, what do you think?
Ioan Gruffudd came in to meet me and just sort of instantly won the part. He is somebody that people haven't seen do a lot of contemporary acting. He's done a lot of work and almost always in sort of period costume dramas, and more recently as a superhero.
You imagine someone a little less conspicuously glamorous.
I thought, oh, there's not a chance in hell that I'll ever be considered to be in this sort of movie. So it was, I was delighted when just to sit down and meet Jake. The next day after the meeting, I was offered the part.
As soon as I met him, I could see that he's got this incredible, charismatic warmth and sort of earnestness that was exactly right for this character who's completely caught in the middle.
That's why we brought you here. We need some of your class thing.
He's obviously a very successful television producer and executive in the UK. This is a sort of a real person amongst these sort of extraordinary people in this world of the television world here in America. So we see things through his eyes. He's sort of our sort of eyes within this world, I think.
I know you like TJ, Mike, but I thought that Zach was really terrific.
The kid's a star.
Very funny.
Fran Kranz is an actor that I had worked with. He plays a little part in the movie I made, Orange County.
I have this recurring dream about that guy.
Fran just came up with a really sort of funny way of playing bad acting that's very difficult to do.
I really I felt like I went through exactly what this character went through.
Okay!
I tested for this one pilot. I did pass the studio test. But this one guy, I can't name any names, but like sort of the head guy, the sort of Sigourney character in this movie, he's like the only one that doesn't like me, you know?
I'm concerned that he's a little broad.
Sure enough, no. The guy, you know, didn't change his mind. I didn't get the pilot. They started recasting, and because of that, it made it so much easier to lampoon the Zach character and make him into this monster, the crazy, out-of-control, big-headed actor.
I feel like I really get the guy, you know?
We'll see you in there.
See ya.
Okay.
Bye, guys. See you soon.
This is so fucked.
He's a sweet kid.
Judy is my favorite kind of comedian, where she's just finds something absolutely true and exploits what's funny about it.
They kind of hate the title. They would like to change it to something simpler, something more fun.
She's nothing like the character she's playing, but she just located a certain kind of person and plays it in a way that is, to me, so true and so familiar. I don't know what she was drawing on for inspiration.
I was influenced by a publicist I know and a manager that I know. And these two women that I've met over the course of my time in Los Angeles, who are both great women. They're not bad people at all. Just some of their habits I thought were funny.
I think TJ's great. I'm just worried he might be a little too hip for the room.
Too hip for the room? What does that mean? Where'd you learn that? Judy Greer is just funny. She just has such a unique comic sensibility that everything she says comes out of there, and it's true, and it's unexpected. She's completely unexpected. It's hysterical to watch. So she didn't like it a lot more.
She did, but her concerns are still concerning her. I didn't want to play her very hard because I think that David's character, Mike, is a sweet, loving, good person, and so you have to buy that he would entrust this woman with his career.
And while he's talking, Judy, I think you can try a little too hard to project positivity into the room. Yeah.
She definitely wants to make some money. She definitely wants the esteem, and she feels like the project in and of itself is wonderful, but she wants it to go on the air, and she's supportive of any changes that need to be made in order to get it on the air.
Thank you.
What can we say? We're psyched to see you.
Oh, I'm psyched to see you. I'm psyched to see all of you.
Lindsay is just brilliantly funny. She just has pitch-perfect comedic instincts, and she locates the joke and the reality effortlessly. I'd worked with her before on a show called Grosse Pointe, and just kind of made a note like, this girl's hilarious and incredibly appealing on camera, and just like, remember to do this again.
This one sucks too. It makes my thighs look thick.
My character is Laurel Simon, and she is an actress. And I feel like she has pretty much done a pilot every year for the past couple years, and they haven't gone, and she's reached this place where she understands that it's not necessarily about her acting, it's not necessarily even about chemistry with the other person. She knows that she just has to look really hot in every scene.
That she must have been one hell of a woman.
That's what they want to use? I mean, your version is beautiful, their version sucks.
Justine's incredibly funny. I thought it would be really interesting to have this sort of smart, beautiful, sexy, pregnant lady
I gotta pee again.
that Mike is dealing with who's just nothing like any of the other women that he's dealing with.
I would just hate to see the show go away. That's all.
She reminds him of what he actually cares about just by looking at her. I thought Justine was a really interesting way of doing that.
I see it more like a guy comes home, the town needs him kind of show. A little northern exposure, a little Ed.
Phil is obviously most famous for being the creator and executive producer of Everybody Loves Raymond.
I came at this from the other side. I worked on television shows and had to sell them to the network, kind of what David Duchovny does in this show. I guess Jake cast me because I could bring some insight into playing a network television executive.
What's wrong with Broad? I like Broad.
To me, the broad is the funny.
The experience that we represent in the movie is, I think, very much the experience that a lot of people have doing these jobs, which is they sort of get through it the best they can, but at the end of the day, they do need to be able to pay their mortgage.
I'm 6 months pregnant, honey. Just the food and the diapers and the doctors, and you're not worried about having a job?
Sometimes we have to make compromises for the better of our income and our families. Sometimes our integrity does take a knock or two.
You don't buy expensive shit while you're making the pilot. Do you understand what I'm saying? The question is, what is integrity? Is integrity keeping your job to support your family, or trying to maintain some kind of artistic vision that, you know, some like idealistic artistic vision and lose the job? So it's a question to answer. Can it work? Yes, of course it can. I mean, it's just a matter of me making it work.
I couldn't agree more.
To me, Jake is one of those rare people who's sort of interested in every aspect of it. He's so caring about each of us and so wants us to do our best and feel comfortable and kind of be set loose on this script.
Yes, do whatever you want.
He doesn't even ask me a question.
It's just hysterical that he kind of caught every moment so dead on, and it obviously is from the perspective of someone that has been through it all before.
He's such a gentle man and director. Beyond being gentle, he's also extremely opinionated in a good way. I mean, he's got opinions, he's got a point of view, and he has a really kind of succinct way of expressing that.
One of the ironies of this whole thing is that making the TV set was exactly the opposite experience to what we depict in the movie.
You looked like I was about to cough up a hairball.
Yeah. I was able to make exactly the movie I wanted to make, which doesn't always happen.
And action!
So funny.
It was exactly the opposite of Mike's experience making the Wexler Chronicles.
Now I'm really screwed.
Now you think you're screwed? I've got 18 go pilots.
Thanks.